Okay, all right, that's done. That's done. That's done. Let's see if this works again. Okay, all right, post that. It's that. All right, I think we are good, people. I think we're getting the session. Let's see if it works now. Okay, I think we're good. All right, cool. Yeah, it is. It is. It's just it's a spaz. I can't say that word. It had an issue. There's an issue. All right. Okay. Can someone tappity tap? Can someone tappity tap? Can I see it? Can I see it here? It looks like yes. Okay, cool. That looks good. Let's look at this as well. Make sure that this works well. Make sure the X works well as well. You know, it's not easy. This is the thing. Don't call me daddy. That's reserved for one person and one person only, all right? Anyway, whatever. Where right now? Are we looking? Are we looking good? Are people watching the new? Oh, I can hear myself. Looks like we're looking good. Let's see if that worked. Are we not seeing anything from X? That's my problem. Let's try this again. Is Kick working? I think Kick should be working. Is everything working? God. Honestly, technology these days, it's not easy as it was. Let's try this again. Did it pick that up? Yes. All right. Cool. Right. All right. Let's get going into the swing of things and go from there and see what is happening and going on from there. And then we can see what the situation is now. Can't see your face. That is very true. Why can't you see my face? Yeah. Why is my face not showing? Okay. Hmm. I love how this technology just doesn't want to work today. One day it'll work. One day we'll see that okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, it should work now. Okay, good. Fine. Here we go. Looks like your deactivated video. No, I didn't deactivate video. It's just everything else. Right now, this is where we're going right now and see what happened and the situation where we are right in this moment. If we look at Bitcoin as it is right now, there is a key level that it needs to recover. I said it several times over. It's extremely important. The Monday high, I mean, the Tuesday high needs to be regained, and that level is 114,078. If that doesn't get recovered, we have a potential to go down further. I said this several times over, right? And the thing that we need to understand and look through is there are some key factors. Remember, I've said many times, I mean, like we're seeing recovery, but we're seeing lowering volume as it goes along as Bitcoin recovers. When that happens, it gives me the understanding that there is a possibility this thing could have a bit more of a further downside in this market, right? But we need to understand that as long as it holds above this lower wick that we see here, above the 102,000, then we're in a really good way forward. How are you, Alvarez? I'm glad you're alive tonight. I appreciate all the help and everything. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's not easy. There's a whole bunch of crap that's going on. And then we can go from there. Yeah. There's a lot of issues with fact at this present moment. There was a bit of a backstabbing from a whale, and it caused a lot of problems on that side. Unfortunately, what can I do? I can't hold with all what they buy and sell and do all the rest of it. But again, I appreciate you guys are all here. I can get a few likes. I'm at 5,000 likes. I don't know. I think people are tired and deflated today. I think that's the situation. I think that they don't really like what is they're seeing in their portfolios. But alas, we continue on on the side. Can you see the chat on this? But whatever, it's fine. Now this is where we are right now, right? But if we look at the 4 hour, it is looking okay. I mean, we're regaining some key levels that we're trying to understand where to go, and the fact that the CPI numbers came in a lot more favorable than we could understand, especially. I mean, like they look good. Lower CPI means that the chance of rate cuts go up and up and up. And can you see my screen? Yes. The chance of rate cuts go higher and higher and higher as we go forward, right? Market hasn't been too bad in that was yet, I know. And this is the situation where we are. Like this positioning of where we are, where inflation seems to look like it's coming down. It's not really coming down. It's like it's reducing at it's increasing at a slower rate. That is extremely important for what we are looking for as rate cuts. Now, I will say this, right? I'm expecting that there might be a possibility that the Fed might cut more. And the reason why I'm saying this is the situation of what's going on and what's happening at this present moment is that because of one thing, and I'm going to get into that, and I've done a video about it, and it's, a lot of people have watched it this time, finally, looking at the key factors. But let's look at Bitcoin, and we can go from there. Then that's that situation where we are right now. If we look at the larger time scale, again, this number, the 114,078, needs to be regained so we can see a change of trend. But at this present moment, it's looking like it's not regaining. And if it doesn't do this, and especially on the weekly, if it closes underneath this level, there is a chance that we could go down and possibly test these 100,000 level areas, and possibly even to the 102,478. Yeah, thank you. It's from Fashionable. Do you know Fashionable? Wouldn't 50% be bearish? There's depends. Market, as I said, look, you need to understand what this market is about. What's key to know is the market environment in which it's cutting, right? You need to get that. If we're cutting in an environment where the balance of risk is not on employment, and we're having an inflation increase, and then they cut larger, that would be bearish. But you need to understand this, right? You need to get to this key factor in all of this, and that is that if inflation seems to be cooling off, but there's still this worry of employment, and then they cut in a more aggressive fashion, that means that they're trying to utilize their means and their access to revamp the unemployment issue that it's sitting in that environment, but knowing that it won't affect the market in a negative way, where inflation will be increasing, but it won't be affecting it in the way where we're adding to a runaway increasing inflationary market environment, which could potentially be good or could potentially be bad. Unfortunately, most of the time, when rate cuts start to get into a faster movement, an increase in the way that it's happening, it could be somewhat short-term bearish as well, right? But I will say this, that I don't expect that this time. I will say this, right? I don't expect that this time, and I'm going to give you a bunch of information why I don't think that it's going to be that way this time, even though everyone is expecting that in that model, right? Now, if we, as I said on the weekly, we are still sitting below the 21-day EMA, and if we I can't read that, man. I would appreciate that, but I can't read that out loud. If we can settle above the 21-day EMA, so the 111 level, we're in a good place on the weekly. If we can somehow get a pump all the way above the 114 and close that on the weekly level, we are in a very, very, very good situation. Watch these numbers extremely, extremely closely. Now, if we look further at this this that I've shown before, the fact that this is coiling down gives me an indication possibly there is a potential where this could do a slight deviation further down towards the 48 and possibly into this zone here. And if it, as I said before, if it comes in and then regains and settles at this point, then I expect further acceleration to this area. And what happens here for the fifth time, if we don't break through this, I would say most probably that could potentially be one of the final pumps before, I would say, towards mid of next year. I'll say that to everyone now very, very clearly. I'm just saying that. But this move from here to here can be quite large, and it can potentially bring Bitcoin all the way up to these 135,000 mark. Again, just want to let you know about that and my understanding, right? These are all my opinions of what's going on. You know, I'm just a guy in a sky bunker, so you guys can understand on that way. Now, what's further going on and we need to understand is that we've had a perfect sweep of this, but most importantly is that, right? Sorry, a bit confused. Are you saying we need to break through the 140 by this weekend? Not necessarily. No. Look, on the weekly, we have to at least close above the 21-day EMA. Settling down here could potentially could potentially draw this down into the lower 100,000 level areas. I would say if it doesn't break the 102, then we're good, and we should recoil back into range and then take off from there, right? 135 is not that crazy though, which is 30% or so, which in years of stock market gains is still, of course. Yeah. No, there's still a possibility. Yeah, exactly. Could this mean that the weekend pump on Monday dip? Potentially. As I said, that level here needs to be regained. The Tuesday high is extremely important, and that is what the situation of all of this is. Now, if we look at some other factors, as I said, with the S&P 500, it is wild. It is wild that we are rejecting off that number that the bank told me. It is wild that it's rejecting off that number. The fact that it's broken out over the 6,763 is, I would say, is the first pillar of what we're looking to recover, right? And this is what's really, really important to understand. That recovery of that, I was expecting stock market to go down, relief, but guess what goes up? No, I was expecting to go. I did say that it was going to potentially go up. I said it yesterday, man. So if we can get through that and break through this key number, the 6,800, I expect a quite aggressive move forward. But man, it's like it's planned. It's like it's planned. Tired of the noise. Tell me, does the bull ride or the bear hunt? I think there's going to be some form of a rally in beginning of next month. I've said it from the beginning. I said November. I expect November. No one believed me. Everyone was saying it was all this and the other. I'm saying by November, beginning of November, I think we're going to be seeing the start of a quite a strong rally from there. You need to pay them for no what? They're just friends, man. They don't do anything on that level. But that is insane. That is insane, because we're in full blown, look, we're not like, we're in full price discovery. The fact that it rejected off that number is I mean, they're like trillion-dollar company, so I'm not surprised that it rejects off that number. That move probably made them millions of dollars, whatever. It's fine, right? That's that situation at that moment. Now, if we look at USDT dominance, it's really, really important that we understand this, right? We need this to start breaking down, and especially break the 4.61%. I said this again yesterday, and I'm reiterating the fact that the lower time frame is breaking through the larger time frame, which is the 200-day EMA, and it looks like it's going to break through the 200-day MA as well. That could potentially show some form of a somewhat rally into the weekend if we continue in this manner. And if that happens, I'm expecting that if it doesn't break this 4.79%, which is the previous, in fact, the Tuesday low, right? Again, Tuesday is a matter of importance of where that level was hit. Then I would expect this to continue up, and we could see still some bearish sentiment in the market as we go forward. It's extremely important on that side to understand that. Make sure you don't get trapped. Make sure you understand that these moves that we're having could be small, short time frame moves. Make sure you risk manage your portfolio very, very clearly throughout all of these matters, right? It's really, really key to understand. And if you want more insight on that, you know that there is a pro group. If you get the Mexi from the link, from all that kind of stuff, I've told you that many times before. But go to the Mexi, sign up through there, put the deposit in, and message me, and then I'll add you into the pro groups, and we'll go through from there, right? No cost. There's nothing. It's completely free to everyone that wants to do it. Literally, there is no free cost to it. I will make some profits from it for sure. Yeah, that's that situation right now. Now, if we look at Bitcoin dominance, we're still on slowly creeping up. I want to see the reaction between this zone here. This zone here is extreme. Yeah. What just happened there? This zone here is extremely important. Between the 61 to 60 and a half is going to be integral in my understanding, because if it rejects off that zone and then starts to really barrel down, alts will be doing some serious moves, and you could potentially make some small run gains. When I say small, I mean we're talking about quite large movements in this. But again, this going up will mean that there's still potential downside that could potentially happen into alts. So keep and protect your assets at this present moment. There is going to be a point where things will start to go, and I still think that we have maybe one more small little recovery back into a Q zone here, where this can reset. And most importantly, this here, 1 second, where are we? Why is this not working? Yeah, that we get a further skew into the short section, where you'll what will happen is that the market will most probably, people in the market will ape into some late shorts as this pulls back into an area, and then that will create the perfect scenario for the market to run through from all there. It's all very confusing at the moment. Yeah, I'm just going through my analysis. It's getting there. It's almost on point on what I've been saying for the past few days. Are you bullish or bearish on Bitcoin right now? I mean, I'm going through the whole thing. I'm giving you the whole aspect of what I'm doing. If you want to see what's on there, you can go to one of these and see what I'm showing you on the screen, and you'll understand it better that way. I'm trying to make sure that you guys understand what is going on. So when I'm not there, when I'm not 24 hours in that scenario, then you guys can really see what the situation is and understanding yourself. And when you see the key triggers hitting, then you'll know. I'll tell you this. If Bitcoin recovers and holds 114, I will go long on everything. Everything, right? I just want everyone to understand that, and that's what you should understand. That the recovery of that is a very big thing that we go from here. As again, I'm giving this all for you guys for free. There's nothing I want anything from you. And if you want any more in-depth stuff, there's the pro group. But again, that's also free if you go through the key factors of what you do. And I said before, the Mexi and all that kind of stuff, right? Again, it's my opinion. You guys don't have to listen to it. Some guy comes in and says that venting. It's going to be a lot of venting in these in these streams from now on. I feel, until we start to get into a crazy level from there, right? Now, remember the 4 key indicators that I did a video on. Only 3,000 or 4,000 people watched it. Small amount. But the key 4 indicators to look at are starting to do some real interesting things on that way, right? So if we look at some key factors, firstly, we're seeing that the S&P 500 has had the breakout. If it breaks above that 6,809, which is wild where it rejected from, absolutely insane, right? that could be an understanding of where the market could have that final little pullback into an area where we could see the final pump of this market. Now you need to understand this as well. Like when people talk about final pumps and all this kind of stuff, and it's the end of the bull run and all that kind of stuff, that's not the way you need to understand. You need to understand that the end of the bull run is a 6-month affair. I want everyone to really get to that point. And within that, and that point is when is the exact perfect time to accumulate as much as you can possibly can. That's what I will be doing. Because you need to understand is that the end means the beginning of what the next stage will be, and that is what's really important. And that's why it's really important to be in these lives and these type of things I tell you, because once we get into that zone and those areas that we will most probably achieve at some point at the end of this year, or maybe early next year, you have to be in a prime position to be able to allocate and then move up and enjoy what most people have enjoyed up until this point here. Don't forget that, right? These things are going to be moving, and I'll tell you this, I'm going to give you an explanation of a few other things when we get to that level as well, right? So stay tuned. Now, as I said, the 4 indicators we need to look at is the SPX, the DXY, the gold, and the VIX, and the was it, is that 4 or 5? Whatever, that's one. I'd love to meet you one day. I don't live far from you. If you need an electrician, let me know. So good. Well, it's better to meet at events than anything else. Man, I don't tell anyone where I live anymore. Right, the key things to look at is SPX, the dollar, the gold, and the VIX, and the 10-year treasuries, right? To be honest, SPX is not that important. The other 4 are more, but let's add the 5th one to it. These are the key indicators to really look up to what's going on. Now, if we look at the SPX, we get the first stage, which is the breakthrough of that key level, the 6,763. I told you many times, I've set these parameters before, and we're just monitoring as we go along. And this is what you should be monitoring as we go along as well, just to make sure that that is, because these levels here, what's your take on VeChain? I like VeChain, and this is the thing. I'll get to VeChain as well. There is a potential for something to be gained from that quite aggressively. I just want everyone to understand that being early is a good thing if you do the certain thing that I'm going to be talking about later on. Yeah, so SPX has done that first level. Now the second level to look at is the dollar. The dollar is teetering at a rollover. It is teetering at it. This rollover is extremely good, right? If it breaks this trend line and it rolls over and we start breaking these key levels, you see the 97.388 and 97.653. If it breaks through that final level there, and it starts to aggressively go down towards a 95, because I think this 95 level is going to be hit at some point, right? That move from there to there, it could be what we could understand as an alt season. I want you to understand that. What do you say about VeChain? I'm going to talk to you guys about VeChain in a second, right? That level from there to there is what we could see is a understanding of what we could see a blow off top and some form of an alt move that can make you some potential returns, right? That's that level. Secondly, gold looks like it's further, it's trying to roll over. That 21-day EMA is extremely important, but it is looking like we're producing a lower high, right? And that lower high is something that's really paramount for this whole market to move, because that rotation from there, I did a video, everyone laughed at me. I got messages from people saying that you don't know what's going on. Gold is going to 7,000 directly up. And I said, just, I'm telling you, I've been here before, and no one listened to me, and this is what happens. So, what can you do? It's a situation, especially as I drew that line and it's rejected off that. As you do, I seem to know how things go forward. So that's another good sign. If this rolls over, that's another factor that we're getting to that zone. Second, the second from last is that the VIX is starting to settle in the zone that I wanted to settle. Between the 15 to the 16 is the area where I want it to sit, and that level there sits at that level and will slowly grind up in Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin grinds up and gets above these levels, then we are going to see some real good moves in that manner. what gold 7K looks like a chart. You can show it is abnormal with the pullback. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Good evening. I was according to some earlier waves, a drop to 50 to 60 Bitcoin is in the next wave is a possible scenario. What's your opinion on Elliott waves? Yeah, people will talk about Elliott waves, but don't forget they said that here, they said that here, and they said that here as well, right? Elliott waves have a place. Don't get me wrong, but you need to look at, there is a hierarchy of information that you need to look for, right? It doesn't mean that when you're looking into the Elliott wave theory that where it's the over. It depends on what zone time frame and how you aspect add that into confluences of horizontals, verticals, and money flows that goes on into the market. Just be careful. You can't look at singular things. Anyone that looks at singular things are looking for a how can I say a version of trying to what is that called? My head's not in the right place. A soundbite. They're trying to sell you a soundbite, right? And when there's a soundbite that people are trying to push all the time, that's when things go on. Like, as I said, you see in my streams, I do massive levels of confluence. I look through the whole markets and to see what direction things are. And that's why I can find these key levels, apart from when a guy who works in a $1 trillion bank says, yeah, you should look out for that number. And oh, man, that was hilarious. Whatever, it's all good, right? So that's that situation where we are, and the VIX is settling at those key levels. However, Somni says some solid conviction Bitcoin can get to 20. It can do. I want you to understand this. Bitcoin to 200,000 is a break of this trend line. I'm telling you, Bitcoin from here, and it's still possible. It's not saying it's not possible. Bitcoin from here to here, that's not. What's that? That's what is that? Right? Bitcoin from here to here is possibly over 200,000. But breaking that bearish divergence is a problem, right? Because of the factor of the bearish divergence to understand is that it is what it is. We're going up, but this is going down. That usually means a further pullback down until we break this trend. If we cannot break this trend, it downside is what we can see. And know this, right? Know this. You have to treat at this present moment until key levels are hit, right? Until key levels are regained, a pump is a potential trap, right? Especially as you have lowering levels of volume as we go through, and you see these key levels are not being regained. Until we get a tweet from Donald Trump or China or various other factors are seen to be showing some further bullish momentum, a pump is something that you need to look at as a potential trap until that it gains a level. If it comes up to this level, right, and then rejects, that's a potential further downside, and it's a trap to try and gain some liquidity. Although I will say this about the liquidity that we're looking at right now, that if we look at the liquidation levels, is this reset yet? No, of course not. Yeah, if you look at the 24-hour liquidations levels, we're gaining some real nice levels at the top, although it's about 50-50 at the moment. VeChain, brother, I'm going to get to VeChain. There is a 140 plus, probably in total 1,000 people watching this live. Please, I will get to it. Right? All right, clear. I'm gonna get to it. Bitcoin is up due to inflation. Anyway, yeah. Okay. All right. So there's that situation of what's going on. Inflation's down, my man. I don't think you looked at the inflation data. Now there's a 50-50 split here. So we have to see where it goes first, right? Either it gains and grabs that liquidity at the bottom level, especially if it goes down to here, which if you look at the levels of if you look at the key levels of where we're sitting, where is this right now? What was I looking at? Yeah, if you look at the key levels of where that's sitting, if you look at there, it's about to the lower level of this this channel. It could go either way, genuinely, right? But I could see this grabbing liquidity at the bottom and then going up from there, trying to test these 114 levels. If we don't regain that, then that is a potential shorting opportunity. Make sure you understand that from there. Here's where the crypto hasn't been for anyone in this year, bruv. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's true. Right, there is that. It's been a difficult run for sure. Right, there's that situation here. Now, if you look at the 10-year treasuries, it's looking like it is a acceptance of a bearish movement, especially of that trend. As I said, if it breaks between these two levels that you see between the 3.9 and the 3.872, that break of that is also another good sign. So at this present moment, out of the 5 indicators, one is showing actually two. The VIX and the SPX is showing the good signs of further continuation and growth potentially in risk on assets, but we're still looking at the problem of the DXY, which is the dollar. The gold hasn't broken through the key levels, and also you're looking at what was I saying? Actually, 3. Sorry, the VIX is also down. And also the 10-year treasury bonds have to further break through some key levels for that to get to that level, right? So we're close. We're getting there. We're going in a good direction, but we'll see before we go there. Again, if those things are not hit, then we are going through some key problems. But I will show some other things, and I'm going to show you some key factors to understand this as we go along. Next week is huge. China is meeting. Fed 50 point basis cut would be amazing. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. Thoughts on SHX built on Star? I have no idea, man. Hey man, I'm waiting for the decision. My responsibility is not yours. If we can be mates at the same time, I'm interested in crypto. Yeah, look, so next time, man. Look, when there are events in England, and I post about it and I talk about it, right? It doesn't mean that you have to be at the event to meet me. There are all side events and this and that I can get all of you guys into. All right, never forget that. I'm here for all of you guys, and that's what's important to me. All right. Now, I want to show you some key things that you guys really, really need to understand, right? This is really, really key, need to understand. Now, whether this means that we're going still in the direction that this will happen in November, which I'm expecting there's going to be some real movement in November, or whether it moves further into the next year, we'll see. It depends on the sentiment, both of what Donald Trump is going to do, what the market analysis is, and you know, to be honest, there's some key things that are really, really important to understand of what's happening in the markets right now, right? First things first, you need to understand that we are in the 23rd day, verging on the 24th day of the government shutdown. This is the thing. I did that video, and now... Wait, where did the camera go again? The camera just go. Oh, no, the camera's there. All right, okay. I did that video, and now other people are doing another thing. Is there a marketing plan for Fat Cat to recover? We're going to be working on it. It's you know, it's not. I'm not going anywhere. That's the most important thing of that aspect. I'll still work on it as long as the people want me to do so. The man is moving the markets with a blink of an eye. Yeah, a blink of an eye, and probably a the importance of his bowel movement as he's about to tweet where he's sitting there, right, on his throne, literally. Now, as I said, we're on the 23rd day of that, verging on the 24th day of the government shutdown. And what this is, likes aren't showing on here. Are we not? It's weird. I don't know why. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Now, and I said that why that video is so extremely important for people to understand is that is a tactic that the government is using now. Because it's going to force the Fed to cut more or be more dovish than they're expecting to be, which could mean either a 50 basis point cut. I said that in a somewhat of a ironic way, but it could be something that is complementary to this 25% basis cut. That is, in my mind, an absolute certainty. It's 98% chance of this thing happening, and that's what's really important to understand, right? Because what's going on is that the key informational data, the data that the Fed is looking at, is not there. They understand, and they put forward, and what they said previously is that the balance of risk is in unemployment, because unemployment is the key factor that is showing weakness at the moment. That is why they were cutting, and their worries of inflation has now gone down because they understand that the inflation is a singular jump because of the versions of tariffs. Tariffs are only going to be a block increase in price unless this China deal continues on. It's unsustainable. He says it himself, even though he says, oh, it's unsustainable for China. It's unsustainable for the world. Forget China. The world is unsustainable for the world for this to be the case, right? So that is going to be resolved. There is no question in my mind that's going to be resolved, right? The resolution of the China, American-China deal is going to be the mother of all green candles you'll see in all markets. It is the thing that is stopping growth the most at the moment, and especially now, as I said, that the U.S. government is shut down. There isn't the data, the key data for the Fed to look at to see whether they need to cut more aggressively or not, to stimulate the economy or not, and what they will do. The worst thing for the Fed is to be late. They cannot afford to be late. I want everyone to understand that being late means something that they cannot control. It is a runaway event at that moment. So they're going to be front running this. They're going to be predicting what could potentially happen. And what they can do is they can put the brakes on. But if they don't know the problem, they can, and not doing enough is the worst case scenario in this way. TradeFi is laughing at their way to the bank. Right, yeah, tell me about it. Don't get me started, right? That's the situation of where we are right now. That is what's going on, and that is why it's important. And you will see once the government gets what they want from the Fed, the shutdown will miraculously end. And that's what everyone needs to understand, and why this is such an important fact, and why I believe that going up to that, there's going to be some real growth in the market, which is probably next week, which is the beginning of November. Is it November next week? Yes, I think so, right? Unless I'm mistaken. Something like that, right? And at that level. Now, this is what's going to be important. What creates inflation? Government spending, and no wonder it was close to cut interest. No. Inflation, no. Not necessarily government spending. It depends on the key other things. Inflation is just the process of prices going up. And tariffs by far are the biggest things that do that. Anyway, there's that situation, right? Now we go. Now a few more things I want to show you, and then I'm going to head over. I've had a day and a minute these past few days, unbelievable, on another level. One other thing I want to show you, and I want to reiterate these type of things again. Difference between the open interest between Bitcoin and others, which are basically the key factors that everyone here is looking at. Is getting broader and broader and broader as we go along, and one way or other, one is going to catch up to the other. Whether there is Bitcoin comes down or others go up, we will see what happens in that scenario. But I will say this: as interest rates start cutting, the dollar is going to fall. This is going to fall, right? And most importantly, you will also see gold falling as well. Those two will fall. And especially as we're now seeing that inflation is going down further, all of these things are going to be affecting the two other factors that are important for this market to grow, right? That's where we're going, and that's what's going on in that manner. Now, yeah, it would be nice to get some likes, but I guess people don't want to give me likes. How can I do? All right, that's that situation. Furthermore, don't forget, we are still in a scenario where there is M2 money supply is hitting record levels across the world, and we're still not anywhere near there. The S&P 500 is catching up, but Bitcoin still hasn't got to that level. We're not there yet, right? And that makes you understand whether it's going to go there or the others are going to catch down to the Bitcoin. Is it the barometer of where the market actually is, or are the other factors such as gold and S&P 500 the barometer? Because all other assets are flying at this present moment, right? And that's what's going on in that scenario. Furthermore, I will show you a few other things. If you look at where we are in the bull market in the S&P 500, we're year 3 into a what is usually an 8-year move in that direction. And what's super duper interesting to understand, right, is this little graph here, right? Today is statistically the best day to buy. Statistically. I'm not saying doing that, not saying in any other way, but from a very good research firm, you can check them out. Statistically, today is the best day. Today, right now, is possibly the best day to get into the market. I would say wait until the Monday range, but this is what it's showing, right? And that's probably why today we've had a nice little pump up, which is hilarious if that's the case. Or it could be just, whatever, right? There's that aspect to understand. More importantly, if we're looking at levels of inflation and this and the other, you're seeing that the risk of a recession is at its lowest. right? We're at its lowest at this present moment. The net chance of a recession happening is not there. This is the kind of thing that's brings in the most amount of understanding in the market, and where what we need to know. These fears not being there is a good sign for the market. Furthermore, I'll show you some other things as well. We need to understand this, right? If we need to know what's going on at this present moment, right? Is we need to understand that is the growth coming through a point of just speculation, or is it coming through actual companies increasing their earnings? Is it their earnings that are causing the increase, or is it actually a speculative move? And what this is showing is a continuous growth in their earnings. Earnings are moving, right? Earnings are increasing as we speak along, and as earnings increase, the S&P 500 will move, and as the S&P 500 will move, we will see all other markets also gain those key factors as they move forward, right? It's really, really important to understand what is going on here, right? One more thing that I will show you as well. Ooh, where did that go? Oh, okay. Wait, is it here? I think I just deleted it. Well, I guess you're not going to see that. Yeah, it's gone. I don't know where it's gone. I think it is. Right. So technically, where we're sitting right now, there aren't any real indicators to show that we are showing any real top here. It's showing that there is a further movement forward in the markets, and we can go from there. What's happening with XRP? I don't know what's happening with XRP. There's that factor. Hey mate, what do you think of AI analysis of Mexi? It's okay. Well, it's a confluence factor, but it's pretty good. It can give you some key on market analysis. It's a good thing to have. That's why I like Mexi so much. It's such a cool place, right? Not only is it non KYC, but it also has, especially if you go through my link, it basically costs nothing to do leverage and all that kind of stuff, and we can go from there. Trump knows you, man. I'm dead serious. FY. Hey man, thank you for showing me pin link. I got several mine. It's fantastic, man. Pleasure. All right, there's that situation. When it's QE, we will see. We will see when that happens. But I'm assuming that there's going to be a very, very dovish move in the market, right? Do you think the top will be sharp and quick and buy to this cycle? No, I think what will happen, right, Cryptus, right, is that we will get a pump, and you will the only way that I will describe this, and this is why I just need to understand this factor. I want everyone to give me a reason other than it's a 4-year cycle why this would be the top. Why would it be the top? I swear he tells others about it. I don't think so. I wish I would have a lot more followers then. A tweet about me from him, I would have like 1 million followers in one day. Although, you know, there are other channels that have like 500,000 followers and they give zero value. Why? I know Dan's a loser. Okay, I don't know what that means. Chad, I would appreciate if you don't say message me in my streams, right? If anything like that happens again, I'm gonna have to remove you from it. I don't know who you are, and I don't understand why people would be messaging you. Alvarez, please tell us about VeChain staking or Stargate again, please. All right, okay, cool. Now let's get to that point, and then I'm gonna make my way because I've had a day, man. I wasn't even gonna stream today, but whatever, it needs to happen, right? Now, look, this is a situation where I want to tell you about something. You're better than Calvin Hill. Thank you, man. I'll take that as a compliment, but thank you. I appreciate it, right? Let me tell you this about this, right? Now, VeChain. I want everyone to really understand how this works. And I'm going to show it to you step by step so everyone can really understand, especially if you're on the tube, right? I'll show you how this works on the tube so everyone can see how this goes, all right? Come on. Open up already. Oof. The internet is having a field day today on my side. I guess maybe it's because I'm streaming so much. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Right? You come to my channel, right? You go to where the live is. I'm gonna put this down. Wow, that's loud. You go down to here. You go to my link tree. It also appears on. I'll show you here as well. Also, if you go to my X, you can see it here. You just click on that. You make sure you go to, as I said, the pro group link there is there. If you do it and do your deposit and message me on the Learn by Alvarez, is that one here. You go here, you go to, you get the click to get it on your phone. It has to be on your phone, right? It's really, really important. You know, get the VWork. After you get VWork, come back and then go here, right? You go into start staking. You go to connect wallet. Comes up with VWorld. Put your password in there. My password. Thank you. 1 second. Come on. Like the quality of the keyboard. All right. What's going on? All right, bring that back. I've claimed this much. I've gained this much VTO in the time. That's the previous one that I've collected. It just keeps ramping on top, right? And on top of that, we get to so if you want to new stake, you go here and one of these, right? Each one has a different NFT that you can utilize. It shows you the different amount of VET. Understand this, right? And I want to say it in the most cryptic way possible, because I'm only allowed to say it in the most cryptic way possible. What you see in these rewards is it would be not enough low-cut tops for 500,000 followers. Oh, thank you so much. I wish I would. I'm working on my chest. Some people say the top was last December. Yeah, a lot of people will say that, right? There will be something that will be coming like that there. And those who are early to this will be getting that. You get it? I'm sure I was clear enough, right? So there's a lot of things coming to the ecosystem where doing this is going to be something beneficial for everyone to do so. I think that's a nicer way of saying it, right? So I would say that make sure you check that out and go from there. I need to collect all these to myself. In fact, I might collect them now. Bam, thank you. Oh, yeah. Something that I hold anyway. Thank you so much. It's very kind. Yep, all good. You know what I mean? I'm just like, and it's a no-brainer in my mind. All right, cool. Collected that. Sorry, I'm just collecting some benefits from doing nothing. Ah, yeah. Thank you. Received. Okay, some more. Let me collect the next one as well. I'll claim that. Ah, yeah. Sorry, I'm just claiming it. It's just. And this is all coming from the horse's mouth as well. That's what's really important to know. Cool. Nice. Nice little bonus that I collected from there. There we go. That's it. That's how it goes. That's the situation where it is. Let me just log out of this. How do I log out of this thing? Yeah, that's it. That's how you do it. That's how I've done it. I've done it multiple times. That's it. All right, cool. Confirm that on that way. All right, cool. And that's the situation where we are. What do you guys think? Any other questions? Otherwise, I'm gonna get off because I've had a minute. Oh, actually, there's one more thing I want to talk to you guys about. That's one more thing I want to talk to you guys about. That's a really good point. 1 second. Have you guys heard of Toyo? I talked about it recently. They just had their TG, so their token generating event, right? And if you want to understand about Toyo, I'll show you. Let me just talk about this as well, because the head of Toyo is coming on to the stream on Monday, and it's really important that you guys really understand and do research on this. TOYOW, right? I'll open up here so you guys can understand. All right, there we go. 1 second. It's a absolutely massive push. It's an RWA project that basically is the Amazon of RWAs, right? So you'll be able to factionize assets of pretty much everything. They've bought properties, land, artwork. It's what fractionalized RWA is going to be in the future. It's basically the key factor of what this market is, right? And the head of that guy of that project is coming. It's a multi-billion-dollar project that they're looking to push and build in that way. And and you'll talk about what the key factors are, what the TG event was, and how it's going to be moving forward, and all of those factors that are really important to understand. Look, let me just show you something here. Look, I'm going to show you a bunch of stuff, right? So you guys understand. This is Toyo. There we go. That was interesting. This is Toyo, right? So what type of aspects that they have, what they've bought like vintage cars, art, and a whole bunch of things, right? And the thing that was really interesting about it is as I said, it's gonna be like Amazon. So you got to go and pick and choose what you want to own a piece of. Oh, you like this new artwork, this new car, you want to own 10% of it, 5% of it. And what it does is that it will give you a yield back from the appreciation and also the utilization of that. Yeah, ticker is TTN. Ticker is TTN on that aspect. So stay tuned if you guys want to know more about it and understand what's going on. I mean, like I'll read some stuff out for you. They have currently invested in $35 billion worth of commodities, $500 million worth of real estate, $10 million worth of into their token investment, $50 million into film assets, $27 million into classic cars. And all of this is going to be adding up into a really good marketplace. So check that out. See what that is. See what you think. And I said, as the guy is going to be coming onto the stream, it might be an interesting thing to join in and see from there. Okay. Any questions, guys? Raphael, I didn't say that word, and I can't confirm that because it's not confirmed. Just benefits is the best thing that I would say. Benefits will be ascertained by those who are early. Bro, you said no, okay, see you next day, but it says I can't sign up because of my region. Yes, you can. Oh wait, you're in New York. Try try the browser. Sometimes on the phone it doesn't, and it's not KYC, man. If you're not eligible, it just means that there's certain areas that don't work in that way. Right? Any Dreamcash? Yes, I talked with the Dreamcash people. They're going to, as I said, I said 2 months ago. So in November they should be launching their aspect and their wallets where all those farming aspects. So you should be working. You know how these things work. The timing is always a moving process. That's that thing, right? So Huda, if that's the case, you might need a what's it called, a VPN for it to work in that manner. All right, any other questions, anything else? Are there any levels I was looking at, or just wait for the Bitcoin dominance to break down? Oh, there's some levels like that. What's it, ticker TTN. Just have a look through, go through the whole process, understand what this is, and go through and read through all of this stuff and prepare some of your questions. Do you know what I mean? So you can understand what's going on. It's a really interesting thing. They have a huge amount of plans with this project. Absolutely massive, right? TTN. All right, cool, guys. Pleasure, love, affection, all of that jazz. All right. I will catch you guys later. Again, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute. All right. So I'm gonna try and have some rest over the weekend and come back fresh on Monday. We can go from there. Yeah, it's an RW project. and we can work on all those factors. Okay, any questions, anything else? No. All right, for the TikTok lot, I'm going to be saying farewell. I'm going to give some further information to the people on the on these two areas, and we can go from there. If you want to have more, you can join me there, and and like save, share, and comment and stuff like that. That's all I ask of you guys. All right, take care. Love, peace, affection. Okay, let's get that out the way. 1 second. Come on. So many. There we go. All right. Okay. Cool. Right. Will ETH reach 4K this week? It's a look. I'll also say to a little bit of a bonus information for those who are on the tube and on X and everything else. We need Ethereum to break the 4,000 level again, right? Without that, it is a given that these other markets are not going to be moving in a more aggressive fashion. We need that to move up. We need that to break the key level, and most importantly, if it can reclaim the 4,270, that is an extremely important place to be. Brother, what's your take on Axelar? It's okay. It's not my favorite of all these type of tokens, but a lot of them will have potential as we move forward. I really like Tau at this present moment, and other factors in that. Also, I'll say one little bit of a bonus thing for Bitcoin Gold, right? We've had a perfect deviation of the key golden pocket, and now we're looking to see to regain key levels on this, right? We need some certain levels to break, and if we look at the lower level aspect, is that we've technically broken the previous all-time high, right? The previous high. If this holds a higher low again, that means that there could be further continuation, and that transfer of gold in relation to Bitcoin is going to be more of a Bitcoin side move, right? I will say this also for everyone that wants to gain access to it, is that God, where is this? Why is that not a link? That's weird. It's not a link. It's weird. Why is that like that? Okay. For those also who want to understand, if you want to get into the pro group, you just click on this, subscribe, deposit your $100, which you can take out any second. It's nothing on that level. Come back and send me the UID, and I'll put you into the pro group, and the information you'll get there, absolutely free. Yep. And then we can go from there. Other things, also make sure you check out Learn by Alvarez. This is a little group that we can all chat and talk, and everyone's free to talk without any toxicity. And these are the other socials. You should make sure you come to the X as well. If you follow on the X, and you'll see the latest bit of information there as well, according to the market, what my thoughts are, and everything else on that level. All right, good, happy. Anything else? I'm gonna go and do some stuff. All right, guys. Look, affection. You guys have been incredible. Again, appreciate you all always. All right, take care. Peace, love. Have a good weekend. Touch some grass. Let's see what the market does. Where'd you send UID? Just go to Learn by Alvarez. In the same link as the link tree, you'll see the Learn by Alvarez. That's our group where there's key information, data, and other things, and launches, and drops, and pushes, and all this kind of stuff. That's it. All right, guys. Love. Take care. I'll see you guys later.